Hey, Jared McKinley, how's it going tonight?
It's doing well, doing well.
Hey, some reporters are calling you the Tua of the TFL. How do you feel about that, and how do you plan on recovering from last year's concussion?
Already recovered. Felt pretty good the night after, so I feel good about where I'm at. The Tua thing, I don't think is really applicable to me. Tua has had multiple pretty serious concussions. Really, that was just one. Unfortunate injury. I don't think I have a problem. I don't need to go through any safety concerns or anything like that.
Any thoughts on wearing a Guardian cap this year?
I've been talked to about that from my girlfriend, but I shut those concerns down.
What do you think your outfit tonight says about your personality?
I just think it shows humble flashiness, is what I would say. Humble flashiness. I'm a winner.
So Jared, as a captain, having the #1 overall pick, I don't know if you've had the #1 pick before. What's your kind of thought process going into that, getting the best player in the draft, but also the worst player?
Yeah, Tim, I haven't had this pick before. I just credit that to the Kraken's overall success as a franchise every season. I would say just as far as having the best player and the worst player was thought out throughout the draft process, deciding who we would take this year. We had a lot of options, and we're comfortable with where we're at, and so that's why we chose #1.
When you say the overall success of the Kraken, what do you define success for?
Overall, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is the TFL championship, right? But I would also just say every year, we're one of the better teams in the league. This is the first year we've been the worst team in the league, or a bottom 2 or 3 team. Every year we're putting up good numbers, good records, and unfortunately, because of injuries last year, we suffered, and that was really the only thing we can attribute last year to.
I want to ask you about those injuries and the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much do those impact your ability to take things away from film, and has that hampered your off-season prep at all?
In terms of looking at the Kraken last year, yeah, a lot of it's just scrapping film, digging that. Putting that in the ground, putting it away. But that doesn't mean that we aren't watching other teams, watching what the league liked last year, what was successful, what wasn't. And we still have things from 2 years ago that we really liked with our Kraken team then. So I can promise you'll see some things this year as well.
There was a debate earlier on in the TFL offseason about you versus Braden. There was an Instagram post about that. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I can. And Braden's a player I respect highly. I think there's a big 3 in the league of wide receivers, me, Gabe, and Braden. We've been doing it for a long time at a high and consistent rate. And I respect Braden a lot, but I think those votes kind of showed where I'm at. I believe I won that vote. So, is it tie? Was it a tie? It was a tie. Okay. It was not 70-30. And the group chat was tied. Okay. Well, among the peers and the draftees, it was a tie. So, I just think that shows you where the league puts us at. And, yeah.
So
Go ahead.
after the injury last year, you had a lot of guys step in, and did you just consider that you were a dumpster fire, or did you have a conversation with your guys? Did you see some stuff you liked from the organization versus what were your thoughts after the injury?
Well, the only player that I had drafted on that team that was still playing was Kelson Volkert. And so I talked to him about it, just kind of consoled him a little bit, kind of mourned the season. It's unfortunate. It's a season that happens one night a year, and when it's just kind of squandered like that, it sucks. So I felt bad for Kelson, felt bad for the guys, but I kind of let them play. When I got there, they were already in their playoff game, so there's not much I could do. But yeah.
Jared,
Go ahead.
Jared, one thing that your fans were doing about halfway through the season last year, where they were holding up signs, "Take for Angel." What do you feel about that as your team is playing?
Like I said, I didn't see those signs. I wasn't out there. I'm sure the guys felt pretty bad that we're playing, but that doesn't go into our draft at all. We love our fans, but frankly, it's just this is an organization where we make decisions not based off of emotion, but off of intellectual thinking. So
You've been called the most hated player in the TFL. You've got Zane Burke on your case, even Stetzel after you all the time. Why do you think you invite so much divisiveness?
I think it's just jealousy. I think those guys want to be in my position and they just aren't. So they get jealous and they put it on me, and that's okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, boys.
Bring the cup up there.
Jack, do you have any opening remarks about the Renegades this year?
Sorry I let the organization down last year.
Jackson, you guys really struggled on the defensive side of the ball last year. I believe you had the best offense by offensive efficiency, but the worst defense. What have you seen on film, and how do you plan to address that this season?
Some things I've seen on film was just I take full responsibility for that. As there's plays like when Grant runs a 5-yard out, and I just get lazy and think I can lollygag tag him, sprints up the sideline, let up a big play. It's just some plays I felt like I could take off, and that's just not how the TFL works. These guys are too talented that you're playing against, and you can't take downs off. And I've got a lot better watching film, learning how to break down, make good plays, keep them in front of you, just not let up the explosive plays like we did last year.
Yeah, in 2023 you were at 91 overall rating, but these past 2 years you've been down at an 89. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. It just it motivates me. I think it's disrespectful, but I don't blame them. We haven't won anything, so people can rate me what they feel, but it just puts a chip on my shoulder for this upcoming year to get back into the 90s and sustain myself as one of the top players in the league again.
What do you think it's going to take for the Renegades to get over the hump and win that first championship that the fans are screaming at you for, and what you want as an owner and a captain?
It's just a couple plays. Like I said earlier, I mean, we went to overtime with the champs. If we win that game, we beat the defending champs in the regular season. So it's not like we were the worst team in the league. I know we were technically the second worst, but if you look it back, it's like 2 or 3 plays where it's like, wow, if I would have tagged him or if I could have just got open. It's just a couple plays, and I think that gets us over the hump is just making sure we hit the draft right this year and getting the right players.
Jackson, we've also seen just from your play style, you take on a villain role with your celebrations, especially. We saw last year you standing over Grant Norman as he was aching and thriving in pain. Is that something, Jackson, that you're going to continue to do, or is there a shift in mentality as, like you said, there hasn't been much success?
There won't be a shift in my mentality in that sense. I'm not sure it's a villain role, whereas it's just like it's a ride or die for the Renegades organization. Everyone else out there, I don't like you. I like you off the field, but once we're on the field, I don't like anybody out there that's not wearing a Renegade jersey. And it was nothing personal to Grant Norman. It was just a huge play and just caught up in the moment. And I'm glad that he was okay. And it makes it much better that he was just having a little crampy cramp.
Do you feel like you let Tim Jordan down last year?
I do. I feel like it's not just Tim Jordan, it's just the whole organization again. I mean, we haven't won anything, and yes, Tim specifically, who's coming in whenever he's gone. And like Israel said with the first question, it's our offense was fine. Timmy wasn't the problem. It was the defensive side. We tried to incorporate some different looks for the defense, and it just didn't work out. So I've watched a lot of film, and I think this year just making sure that we keep things in front of us and get better. But yes, I feel like I did let Timmy Jordan down.
You're in a position to draft him again. Talk about your thoughts on your draft selection and what kind of guys you're looking at there.
I'm not going to give away my draft board, but what I will say about Tim is it was probably the most fun I've had playing in the TFL, just knowing that if you get an inch of separation, the ball's coming where you need it to be, just like you saw in that. I mean, it's Grant's hands right here, the ball goes right past it, and it's just a dot, and you get a lot of those. And we both had very good seasons. It's just like you said, the defense was bad. And so this year, I think stepping it up, playing with Tim would be awesome again, but we've also explored some other options, and we'll see where we go with the second overall pick.
You played with Tim recently in a scrimmage here in New Haven, Fort Wayne. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
When you're playing in scrimmage, it's a lot of, as captains, you're not trying to give away anything that you're going to do or who you're going to play with or plays. So it's kind of just freestyling. And so I don't like playing too hard out there. I like getting out there and just playing with new guys, throwing in new pieces and seeing who you might want to draft. As far as playing with Tim, it's the same thing. He just throws the ball where you need it.
Jackson.
Okay. Are you thinking about calling off the wedding to focus on the TFL?
Oh.
The thought runs. The thought has crossed my mind a couple times, and it's just the TFL is in December, weddings in May, so we don't have much time to prepare for the TFL. We got a lot of time to prepare for the wedding. So this next month is going to be wedding talk off, TFL talk on. Wedding talk can resume after we hoist that trophy.
What ring would you rather have? Wedding ring or TFL ring?
Answer wisely.
No comment.
Jack, you are 0-4 against your second oldest brother the last 4 years. Just curious if you look forward to the schedule at all and hoping to play his team, or is that just something you don't really think about?
I don't think about it much, as in losing to you, as it is Gabe, who usually drafts you somehow every year, and I just think that you guys have the Renegades number right now. But yeah, I'd love to play your team, wherever you go, but it's not something that I'm anxious to see.
All right, thank you.
We are New Haven, Fort Wayne.
I really want to.
Cal, anything you want to say to people before the season starts?
No. I didn't have anything prepared.
Can you take me back to last year, making it to the championship and just ultimately coming up short? Can you just take me back to all the emotions and how that's motivating you this year?
Losing last year really hurt. I mean, we were heavy favorites. Had some problems. One of our players is no longer in the league. So it really just shows that he took last year's loss really hard. Like us, Jimmy couldn't bear it. He's gone. But me and Zane are ready to get back and get after it.
Talk about his departure, because that was a guy that you teamed up with a lot. What do you think the league's going to look like without him, and just talk about Jimmy?
Yeah, he's no longer in the league, so I don't think we need to talk about him.
There's been some reports of you at pickup volleyball games in the past couple of months. Talk about how's that preparing you for the TFL, and what's the correlation there?
Yeah, I've been hurt the past couple TFLs coming into it. I had the eye surgery 2 years ago, the strained quad last year. So I think just being more ready and more prepared, new off-season routine will get, yeah.
Also, Cal, speaking into that off-season routine, it's been linked that you are going to have your first official high steppers practice this year. Speaking to that, and go into what that's going to look like.
Yeah, after coming up short time and time again, sometimes you got to make adjustments. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over with the same result. So we're just looking to mix it up, get locked in. I'm sure we'll have some familiarity with our team again this year. So really just taking the next step.
Last year you were the favorite, very much discussed. How does that impact your team going into a season, just to know that all eyes are going to be on you, every opponent going to give you their best shot?
I think we let the media get to our head a little bit. It's like rat poison. You drink too much rat poison, sometimes you die. We get too into the media, too into the ratings, and this year we're really just locked doors just in the High Steppers facility.
You say some familiarity with your team. Does that mean that you're drafting Zane Burke, who was on your team last year, or does that mean getting familiarity throughout the practices?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I'll probably have Zane again. A little disappointed that he's not here today, but I'll probably have him again. I'll be playing quarterback this year, so a little bit different than last year. And then whoever we get in the second round, it'll be whoever we get in the second round.
Talk to us about the return to quarterback. You've taken probably 2-3 years off at that position at least.
It's been 2 years. Thought I could win as a receiver, but I really just wanted to be more ball dominant, have the ball every play, and playing quarterback's a lot more fun than playing receiver. There's a reason receivers don't win MVP in the NFL.
Does that also mean you're drawing up new play? Have you always drawn up the playbook?
I haven't always drawn up a playbook. I think we're going to go back to just being simple, not trying to get super creative, just being more simple with our process.
You said whoever falls to you in the second round? Do you have a preference? Do you have guys you like?
No, I've heard recent mock draft had us taking Josh Sparks. I have heard that Josh Sparks does not want to play for the High Steppers. That's been leaked. So does that
change your mind a little bit?
I don't know. I'm not really worried about my second round, but I just think me and Zane will be able to carry.
So you say that, so what message is that sending to your second round draft?
That he hopefully understands his role.
Last year you made a last-minute trade. Do you expect to do that again, depending on who falls?
No,
You're just gonna deal with who you got.
probably. Probably. I was surprised getting the third pick overall. I think Braden just really set his team up for failure taking the 6th overall pick.
All right, thank you.
All right.
We're gonna get Brandon on the phone.
No, he's at dinner. He can't even get on the phone.
Did you even announce the pick either?
He's texting.
He's gonna announce the pick.
He's texting.
He's gonna face the kid from the bathroom. I feel good. His girlfriend Sammy.
Grant, I have a question. I'll start us off.
Yeah.
Grant, obviously coming off a successful year, bringing home another championship to New Jersey. How do you kind of reset your mind, kind of come back? We see the Philadelphia Eagles this year in the NFL. They have a winning record, but they don't look that good, and they just won the Super Bowl. How do you refrain from doing that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, with winning just comes a lot more attention. You know, this offseason we've been really busy with, documentaries, just all different interviews, and all of that was about last year. So it's really time to move on. We're looking forward to year 9. New Jersey's really excited, ready to go. Just forget about last year and make more history. So yeah, we just got to stay focused, stick to our process, and just continue that success that we had last year.
Your outfit's giving Miami dad visits Brooklyn in the wintertime. How does that reflect your personality? What do you say?
That's a tough question. I have a stylist. I really lean on that stylist.
Chris Norman?
No, not my dad. My dad is very controlling, but he is not in control of the style. I give all that credit to Jada East, soon to be Jada Norman here soon. But yeah, if you don't like the outfit, then you can go to her. I'm not gonna comment on that further. Thank you.
After you win the championship, what does that night look like? Is it the club and drinking and partying, or is it right, like you said, right back to the?
No, my dad. I have a curfew, so I was home at 10 p.m. Actually, maybe a little later because I think TFL ended. At 11. So I had to race right home. Say that? I wasn't punished. He was really excited that we won. But yeah, I just couldn't do that again.
Came home a loser. Would it have been different?
I can't really comment about that. But yeah, he was really excited to get the win. So yeah, that's kind of what the night looked like. Just right in bed and ready to go.
Grant, do you have any comments about your dad's X/Twitter feed?
We're gonna see a lot about that in the documentary. I don't really want to comment about that anymore. This year's a new year. Hopefully he just kind of puts that to bed and doesn't throw any of my teammates under the bus like that ever again. Yeah.
Grant, your team construction this year is going to be completely different, kind of a 180 from last year where you had Angel.
Yeah.
You had Caden.
Yep.
Now with the 4th pick. Thoughts on that? Might we see you back at quarterback? What will change?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a year of change. It's going to be a different group of guys. I'm very, very excited for the challenge. Last year, boy, it was fun. Just having Angel slinging around back there, just running around. K-Man, just steady Eddie, just always in the right spot. But yeah, we're going to have a new group of guys. And I think just the group of guys that I end up picking will kind of determine my position. So yeah.
Do you think you can be a number 1 cornerback on your team?
Quarterback? Cornerback? Yeah, of course. I think, a couple years ago, I don't think so. Especially not on a winning team. I could try to just throw myself out there, but we were probably going to lose. But this year, the league's been around for so long that it kind of goes in waves of who's more athletic, who's not, who kind of falls off. And I feel like this year, you know, the wide receivers, I don't think Gabe's as dominant anymore. I think he might have lost his step. Jared coming off a concussion. So I think I can kind of, you know, hang around and be that number one cornerback if I need to be.
Can you talk about, there's a debate in the past couple years about who's a better receiver between you and Israel.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how last year really affected that?
Yeah, no, I noticed that. I was actually late last night, just before my dad takes my phone. I was watching the TFL podcast, and you guys mentioned that. Like, remember when it was a debate, Israel and Grant, and you guys all laughed. And that was just, oh, that felt so good. So I don't know if Israel saw that, but it made me feel good. So I don't even know if I had to comment about it. It's just like, it's more of like a laughing matter now. So, yeah.
You know, laughing matter after the season.
Grant, do you think the wedding will be a distraction at all for you this year?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, with distractions, you just gotta be able to no, I can't say that word. You gotta be able to, you know, you just gotta be able to manage yourself well. You know, I have you know, a team in the off season that kind of, you know, has different roles in just my life outside of football. And so I kind of lean on them, lean on my fiance, and so yeah, hopefully they get it done for me.
You had the 4th overall pick fall to you.
Yeah.
Were you excited about that? Do you have an idea who you want to draft?
Yeah, I was excited about that because I feel like in years past, you know, I'd get that, you know, last pick in the first round, first pick in the second round, and you can't really control, you know, who you get. So like getting a top 4 guy in the league, I think will be awesome. And then just looking at the second round, I like the tier that I'm going to be able to get in that second round as well. So having 2 guys that can really be difference makers is going to be fun.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Kyle, did you know why we were laughing at your question?
No.
You said New Haven, Portland.
Oh, I did.
New Haven, Portland.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Any opening statement, Gabe?
Yeah. From the commissioner, I'm very excited for this year. Everybody knows the motto at this point: bigger and better. I think you know, this year we're going into it as a league, as a committee, just focused on making the league bigger and better, making the moments bigger, the players getting better. We brought in some veterans this year, brought in some guys like Stets, going to add some flavor to the league. Very excited for what this year holds.
I'm going to ask this question of you as the commissioner.
Yeah.
Not to look too far ahead, but next season is the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
There's been some discussions on maybe expanding, maybe moving to 4-person teams, maybe doing 2 nights. What are your thoughts on that? Potential.
Yeah. You know, specifically the 2 nights issue, I love the idea of 2 nights. How feasible it is, it's very hard. So as a league, we're contemplating that. There have been talks about, you know, going to Lucas Oil. We're just workshopping that. But no, I can guarantee next year will be bigger and better. We already have some things in the works. It's gonna be the biggest year we've ever seen. And yeah, I don't want to say much more.
Can you talk about the turf shoes and kind of the change with that?
Yeah, the turf shoes. We went back and forth as a league, as a committee. We went back and forth on that issue. The turf shoes, you can have the bumps on the bottom, just not the spikes or not the cleats. And so we felt like as a league that didn't give anybody too much of a competitive advantage. That like everybody would have to have cleats, but we felt it was a good compromise. So yeah.
Gabe, I'll just ask this question as a captain now. I'd like to as a captain. Gabe, we've seen you, especially last year, just kind of your usage decrease a little bit. Some a little bit more drops, some one-handed catches that you tried to pull off that weren't successful. I'll ask 2 questions there. First of all, is that kind of just a focus thing? And then second of all, What do you have to say to the people who are saying you lost a step?
Yeah, I will say first the one-handed catches that was a focus thing. I will hold my hand up and say that was my fault. We were doing too many scrimmages where I was catching them one-handed, and I thought, I should just start doing this more. And it wasn't a good idea. You got to go up with two hands. Peyton Manning famously would just chew out his receivers if they tried to catch it with one hand. And the same thing happened to me. Lucas Turnwell chewed me out, and it wasn't good. But I needed that, and so that was on me. As far as if I've lost a step, I don't think so. I think you can look at Drew was a great second receiver last year. Our offense was good. We just didn't have, you play 3 games, you don't have the same amount of production as, when you play 5 games the year before or 4 games or whatever it is. So that's just going to decrease. I do think this year I've trained harder and I'm ready to bounce back. Yeah.
What does your off-season training regimen look like?
Yeah, so actually, I did create a regimen on ChatGPT, 10-week regimen to prepare myself for the TFL. Haven't followed that, but the wife and I have been running. I finished a 4-mile race, the Galloping Gobbler.
You clocked in, I think, 5th in the league.
I did clock in 5th in the league, but I finished it, and. Honestly, that's what matters for me. So, yeah, I'm just getting more active, eating a little bit healthier. It's always important.
Some people have a decrease in their play once they get married. Do you think you'll have that problem?
No, I've actually become more active since I've gotten married. We've just run a lot, and it's been great. Before, I was at a bachelor pad. We were just having a good time there. So, also the diet was just not there when you.
In the past couple scrimmages, you've played quarterback a little bit. Is there any thought of, with the 5th pick, mixing it up this year?
No, I'm going to play wide receiver. I like playing quarterback at scrimmages because, who doesn't? It's really fun to play quarterback. And you get to see players a little bit better in scouting when you're playing quarterback. When you're playing receiver, you're really only focusing on yourself or the person you're guarding or going against. So. All right.
Good.